my name's Tash and I have a problem. Yes, I bought more books. I know. I only recently posted like a massive haul and I sort of have another one. Okay, there's 29 books on this list. All of which I purchased, I'm pretty sure. I'll let you know if I didn't, but I'm pretty sure I purchased every single one of these bad boys. Let's really just fast forward through the introduction. My name's Tash, I've been on here not very long, and I like books too much. But if there's any outside noise that happens throughout this video, I do apologize. I have my library in my garage, so the walls are very thin to outside and you can hear cars drive past and people talking, whatever, very easily. So hopefully it doesn't pick any of that up, but we will see. Anyways, let's get into it. We're gonna start with nonfiction, because I only have 2 books for nonfiction because I'm not the biggest nonfiction reader. The first is one that I got when I was down in Byron Bay. I went down to Byron Bay about a month or 2 ago now, and I picked up Linguistics, the visual guide, because I want to be an author one day. Learning about linguistics, especially if I ever want to create my own language or whatever, would probably be a really good thing for me to have a little, at least a base knowledge on. And this seems like really easy. It seems like something that should be easy enough to follow, and hopefully it can teach me something. And if it's something that I really enjoy, I can get a book that's maybe a little bit more, you know, that goes into a little bit more depth and I can learn more. The second book that I have today, that is my second and final nonfiction book, is the Anthropocene Reviewed. I really struggle saying this word here. It took me so many tries just to get that take, and that's the one I'm going to settle with. Because I follow Hank on TikTok and I've been following John Green for forever through his fictional work, I'm interested to know what he has to say about the matter. I find it very fascinating. I know John Green is a good writer, so I can imagine that this is going to be well written. I'm going to enjoy it, and plus I get to learn about scratch and sniff stickers because that's one of the things in here. I'm very, very interested to see what he has to say. Next, I'm moving into the graphic novel portion of this video. There's only 2 books in this segment of my video, and let me go get them. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Heartstopper number 4. It's the 4th book in the Heartstopper graphic novel series. I've read the first 3, well, and the fourth one now. I've read this one already. It's a really cute series that follows a cute little couple, a gay guy and a bisexual boy, and they fall in love, and it follows their relationship, and it's really sweet and really cute, and you get to meet their friends, and it's a real fun time. And this one is really important compared to the rest of them because it follows mental health and the importance of taking care of yourself and looking after yourself, and that maybe you are a bigger deal than you give yourself credit for. I really like this book. I really loved it. It's probably my favorite so far out of the series, and I highly recommend anyone and everyone to get their hands on this series. It's 1, absolutely adorable, and 2, there's a really great message behind this one at least. The 4th book, or the second book into my graphic novels, is Aster and the Mixed Up Magic. This book is the second one to this one, which is Aster and the Accidental Magic. I originally bought Aster and the Accidental Magic because my dog, her name is Aster, and I'm not going to say no to a book that has my dog's name. Yeah, I've read them both. I've read this one already. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed this one more than I enjoyed the first one. The first one was good too. I think I gave it 4 stars. I think I might give this one 4 stars too, but this one was better. I really enjoyed it. It's just really fun. It is like a middle grade series, like it's meant for like 12 and below, but I would recommend it for anyone. I think it's really cute. I don't know, it's like a fun little adventure. Both of them are like, it's like it follows Aster, who's the main girl, and her dog, and they go on these fun adventures, and I don't know, it's just like a lot of mischief, a lot of fun, a lot of outdoors activities. It's really, really good. We're on to the next category, thriller and mystery. So my next one, there's 3 books. The next one on the list is one that I got a reader's copy to it when it first came out. Like an ebook copy. But I'm not very good at reading like electronic editions of books. And so it just sat on my Kindle and I just never read it. So when I saw that it was discounted and I only had to pay like $6 for it, you bet your ass I got it. It's You Don't Know My Name. It's like a spy book. It's like she travels around a bit. She goes to different high schools and whatever. And she's always under like a disguise or a alias or whatever. This book follows her family and her just wanting to maybe break the mold a bit, maybe actually live a life as a normal teenage girl. She wants to fall in love with boys. She wants to just have that experience, and it seems really cool. And I can't wait to read it and find out if it lives up to my expectations. Now I finally have it so I can sit on my shelf for years to come. And eventually I will pick it up and read it. And that's why I never shun myself for buying so many books, because I know one day I will get to them. The next one I have seen on YouTube quite a bit back in the day, way back in the day. There's a few in here that were on special that I had seen all the time on BookTube and just never purchased it, and now suddenly they're all on special and I'm very excited about it. Very excited. I'm finally jumping on that train. I know everyone read it years ago, no one cares about it anymore, but I do. I still care. Me. The Midnight Dance follows a girl. She's in this mysterious estate where she does ballet all the time and like she's just a dancer, and she finds out that this weird estate might not be as it seems, because she starts having memories of things that never happened and she starts getting jumbled, and so she decides to escape one day, like just to get out of the estate and figure out what the heck's going on. And that's what this one's about. And that's all I know, but I'm excited for it. I lied earlier when I said, oh, I haven't gotten any for free. What's this? New South Books or Source Books Fire did send me this one for free. It's Truly Madly Deadly by Hannah Jane. It follows the story of a girl who goes to high school and she has this perfect relationship and gets perfect grades, and she's living this perfect life. And then one day she finds a note in her locker on the same day that her partner or boyfriend is brutally murdered. She finds a note in her locker that says, "You're welcome," which clues onto the fact that someone's aware that her relationship wasn't perfect at all. Like that things were going wrong and that she was in an abusive relationship. And she now knows that someone's been stalking her, someone's been following her. How else do they know? Doesn't that sound cool? I mean, not for her, shit. But doesn't it? Like a little bit? Next category is my contemporary / romance. Mostly it's just romance, like YA romance. Yeah, mostly it's just YA romance, but you know, that's my niche. That's where I love to be. It's what I love to read, is YA, mostly. My next one that I want to talk about is written by a booktuber, and that is Again But Better. This is by Christine Riccio. Follows Shane, who is a girl that's gone off to college, and she's just finding that her experience is very bland. Like, she's doing everything right. She's getting good grades, she's keeping perfect relationship with her family, but she has no friends, she's not going to wild parties, she's like, it's feeling very ordinary. So she decides to hop on a plane and go study abroad in London, where she decides to start anew and try her hand at actually making it work, you know, like going to parties and getting a love life and making friends, and that's what this one's about, and I think that's really cool. Okay, this next one is one that I've had on my to buy list for years, and I've never bought it until now, and that's Wesley James' Ruined My Life. And I'm gonna be honest, the Goodreads ratings aren't the best. It's like 3.3 or something, so I don't have the highest of hopes for enjoying this one, but it's been on my to buy list for so long that when I saw it at $6, I bought it. And it's gonna be a quick read. It's only gonna take me like a few hours tops. Like, the writing's not very small. It's only like 200 pages, 228 pages. It's gonna be a breeze. It follows a girl whose life isn't going as fantastic as she wants it to. Her grandma's just been put in a home, her dad's gotten back into gambling, and her worst enemy has just moved into town. But yeah, Wesley James has just moved in, and now suddenly they're working at this restaurant together, and surprise, surprise, they fall in love. Well, that's what I assumed was gonna happen. It seems quick and easy, and maybe predictable, but I feel like it could be like a nice read, like one that we don't have to think. Sometimes they're the best ones. Sometimes those reads are the best ones. Anyways, the next one is by an author I love. I really, really enjoyed her first book. She writes LGBT books. First one she wrote was Red, White, and Royal Blue. It was fantastic, phenomenal, loved it so much. And I just purchased her next one, One Last Stop. I've already been hearing incredible reviews on this one. People are loving it. They're saying it's really, really good, but doesn't feel like a copy of her last book. It feels like something completely new and fresh. It follows a girl who rides a train every morning and afternoon, I believe. And on the train she meets another girl who can't actually leave the train because she's stuck. She's actually from the year somewhere in the 1970s. She's from she's from that period of time, and she's stuck on the train in this period of time. And the girls get to know each other, and it becomes the main character's goal to return her to her own time. But in that whole process, they fall in love, and it's really cute. And I can imagine I'm going to absolutely love this book. I can imagine that it's going to be a 5-star just like the last one, and I can't wait. I'm stoked to get into this one. Next is The Other Side of Perfect. It follows a girl that dreams of being a ballet dancer, and that's until she suffers a really bad injury and she has to give up on her dreams, and it just follows her. Sorry, it's about really bad then. Yeah, it follows her having to accept that she is not going to be a ballet dancer and that her dream isn't going to be a reality, and sometimes that sucks and that's how life is, but it's going to be really fun to read about. It's going to be sad. I'm probably going to cry a lot. I cry like a baby when I read, but I know I'm going to love it. The next is by an author that I haven't read yet, that's very popular right here, that I hear is very good at writing. But I have not read a single book, and that is by Abby Lyons. It's As She Fades, and it follows a girl who is going to a graduation with her boyfriend, and they get into a really bad car accident, and then he falls into a coma, and she stays at the hospital with him, waiting for him, like sitting with him and hoping that he comes out of this coma. And while he's in this coma, she meets his friend from college or something, and they start talking, and they realize that they're really hitting it off, and that she's got to put a hold on these feelings that keep emerging every time he's around. And then eventually her boyfriend wakes up, and it turns out that he doesn't even remember the relationship. He doesn't remember her, and it really guts her, and then she has to go off to college. And I believe it's a love story about getting over a relationship as well as getting into a new one. I'm assuming she's gonna fall for this guy that she met at the hospital. But I don't know, it sounds really sweet. It's got really good ratings, and she always has good reviews on her books, so I'm gonna give it a go. We Are Inevitable by Gail Forman is the next one. It's her newest book out. I read her last one that she released, I Have Lost My Way, and it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I got a reader's copy for that one, and I loved reading it. I loved reading it so much. But yeah, and then this is her newest one. I'm very excited to get into it. I have some of her other ones, but I haven't read them, like If I Stay and One Last Day or something. I don't remember what they're called. This one follows Aaron Stein, it says so on the back. Follows Aaron. He feels like he's in a bit of a rut, like he's stuck where he is. All his friends have gone off to college and he's working for his family's business at this dying bookstore, which I mean a bookstore book. I love books that have bookstores. He feels very stuck in a rut. And then this girl comes along and it feels to him like maybe things are changing and maybe she's his answer to this whole new world, to this big change that he's after. The final book of my contemporary books is An Emotion of Great Delight by Tahira Murphy. I've already read this one. It was great. I absolutely loved it. 5 stars. Made me sob like a baby. Could I tell you exactly what it was about? Sort of. I don't know, for some reason I know this book was phenomenal. I loved it, the writing was incredible, but I couldn't tell you exactly what I loved about it, if that makes sense. It's set in 2003 and it follows a girl who wears a hijab, and in this time people were very, very judgmental to those that were of them, like that identified as Muslim. Like those that came from that culture, how dare they even exist? Like scum of the earth beneath the feet, which is awful, an awful way to treat people. But she's already going through that as it is. And on top of that, she has her brother that just passed away, her dad's in hospital dying, and her mum is like severely depressed. She has a sister that's constantly hating on her, and her best friend has suddenly disappeared, like doesn't talk to her, doesn't want anything to do with her, is like throws insults at her. She doesn't even know why, she doesn't really understand it. And so she has no one, and she's alone, and she's mourning, and she's just taking it day by day. And it's really, really good. It's really moving, and I'd highly recommend getting your hands on a copy and reading it. We're finally into the final category, which is my fantasy and sci-fi books that I've gotten. It's the biggest category out of all of them. And we're going to start with not this one, but Angelfall I already had on my shelf. I'm really bad at starting series if I don't have the rest of them. So I bought book 2 and 3 of the Angelfall series. So that way I have them on my shelves and I have no excuse for like not reading them, you know? But I'm not going to tell you about these two because I don't even know what the first one really is about. So I won't tell you what this one's about, even though it's not, I didn't get this one. Yeah, Angelfall is about like an angel apocalypse. Like there's this war going on between humans and angels and slaughter is happening. And then amongst it all, there's a dying angel and a teenage girl comes along and rescues him. And mind you, she's like thin. She's like dying herself. But she saves him. And then the two then carry on their journey trying to figure out this whole awful world that they have to live through, that they have to fight. And I'm assuming these two that I got will also follow those two characters and more, my guess. But I'm very excited because this one was popular for forever on BookTube. And I think it's definitely not popular really anymore. Like I never really hear it mentioned anymore. But I want to read it to know what the hype was back then because I'm very bad at reading hyped books. I've been trying to make it a mission of mine to read hyped books. The next one that I got is Namesake because it only just got released in Australia. I've already read the first one, Fable. I already own this one. I didn't get this one in this haul, but I just wanted to have it on me so I could show you which one that I have. I really, really love the American edition of these books because when you like put them together, it creates a face and it looks so cool. So I'm probably going to buy them because I am someone that has multiple editions of books. I love having multiple editions of books. One that I read and one that I can just look at. It's so pretty. So I got this one so I could finish the series. It's basically about pirates. A girl and she's trapped on this island and she's been trying so hard to make her way off of the island. And then one day she does and she goes on this grand adventure. I wouldn't call it grand actually. And she gets to place that she needs to get to and do everything she needs to do. But that's really all I can say about it. It's really good. I reckon you should read it. The next one I saw on TikTok. The Wolf of Oren-Yaro by K.S. Veloso. It is about a queen is just very, very new to ruling her new kingdom, and she needs to sort of settle down tension rising against her, because before she was, you know, your queen, whatever, however it goes. Before she was made queen, she killed a man and then sent her husband away, and it seems very, very suspicious. So they're not really, not everyone's really on board with her being queen. She's got to settle that down, and I can imagine it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very political, which is not normally my cup of tea, so it's going to be interesting if I enjoy this or not. Sistersong. I got 2 copies. One is my Goldsboro, it's the GSFF, my Goldsboro Science Fiction Fantasy Fellowship. And I got this one. It has pretty sprayed edges. It is limited out of 1,500. Nothing spectacular on the inside, but really pretty. I really, really like it. There's one more that I have to show you. That makes 30 bucks for this haul. Yeah, well, I want to talk about this one first, but I have another one from the Goldsboro Fellowship that's freaking stunning. Like, this is my favorite one so far. Yeah, so I won't be reading this edition. This is my reading edition, which is why I have to. By the way, the Goldsboro Science Fiction and Fantasy Fellowship is a fellowship created by Goldsboro, which is a bookstore in London, and they do just fancy books, and every month you get a new fancy book. You can see what's coming by looking on their Instagram page, or you can keep it a surprise, which is what I do, and then it's like a little present to yourself every month. This is a historical fantasy book. It follows 3 sisters. They're born to a king that wanted sons, and obviously he didn't get what he wanted. And there's the 3 sisters. One is badly scarred by fire, like she's got really bad scarring from a horrific fire. The second daughter really, really wants to prove to her father that she can be the man that he wanted, like the son that he wanted. And the third daughter is a really overprivileged girl that really just wants to find love. And then the 3 sisters end up having to take fate into their own hands, as I think like a prophecy has been told by a wizard that comes and visits their kingdom. So they're forced to make action and make haste, as treachery, love, and murder is promised in their future. And the next one, an unexpected addition to this haul, is Threadneedle. This one I didn't research before doing this video because I forgot that I got it. Like, I don't normally put them on shelf until, you know, I've done something with them, but obviously this one wasn't an exception. This one slipped through the cracks. Thank God I remembered. I absolutely love this. It's numbered, hold on, my bookmark, 624 out of 1,500. It's signed by the author. It's super pretty map. Yeah. It's just stunning. I love this one so much. It's so pretty. It says on the back, magic and love, love and magic. They destroy everything in the end. Anna's aunt has warned her of the dangers of magic. It twists its knots, its deadly consequences. Now Anna counts down the days to the ceremony that will bind her magic forever, until she meets Effie and Alice. They open her eyes to a London she never knew existed. A shop that sells memories, a secret library where the librarian feeds off words, a club where revelers lose themselves in a haze of spells. But as she is swept deeper into this world, Anna begins to wonder if her aunt was right all along. Is her magic a gift or a curse? That sounds cool. I mean, it sounded cool when I read it the first time. I just forgot what it was about. Very excited to read this one when I get my other edition, my reading edition. I get so fearful of damaging this one. I mean, look at it. It's stunning. This is the next one, A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. This one follows 4 queer teens who are destined to save the world. Not big shoes to fill whatsoever. Well, I don't know if they're not destined to save the world. They're sort of forced to save the world. There is one destined to tip the scales, but you don't know which way it's going to tip until you read the book. 4 teenagers, as they try to prevent the fairy world from being exposed to the humans, because they don't know what's happening at the moment. They don't know that fairies exist, that there's this massive war going on between fairies and humans. It's just in the background. But yeah, that's happening at the same time that they're trying to like stop it from happening. And these 4 teenagers have to deal with that, so good luck, I guess. Best to you. The next one I'm going to show you is another one that was very popular on BookTube years back. That is Of Fire and Stars. Yeah. And I also got the sequel of Ice and Shadows, but this one wasn't that popular. It was mostly the first one that got really, really big hype. I'm very excited to get into this one. I know that it's a girl love story, like girl love story. I'm very excited for it. It's very, very gay. I'm so excited to read it. I love reading LGBT books, any variety, all of them. But it follows a princess that has been betrothed to a man, and then there's an assassination, and she's forced to work with someone she doesn't like, which happens to be her betrothed sister. And then as they work together more, they find out that they don't really mind each other so much, and that maybe they aren't so bad. Maybe they're meant to be. But yeah, so they've got to figure out who killed. I'm assuming, like, it doesn't actually say on the back, but I'm assuming the person that's assassinated is the betrothed. That makes sense for why the main character and his sister would have to team up to figure out who it is. This one's going to be quick and easy to summarize. It's a sci-fi retelling of Cinderella, except it's gender swapped. So Cinderella's a guy and the prince is a princess. I'm pretty sure it's about a princess who's trying to run away from the person she's trying to run away from the person that she's betrothed to. She's not really interested in it. And as she's fleeing on a spaceship, she finds a thief in her cargo bay, and he ends up getting kidnapped by her, and they fall in love, I'm guessing. But it sounds cool. It reminds me, it gives me Cinder vibes, but also not at the same time. Raw by Cora Carmack is another one I heard of back on BookTube, I believe. I think it was BookTube that I heard about it. Yeah, and I've heard it's fantastic. I have not personally read it, clearly, but I'm very excited to get into it. It follows a main character who lives in a world where storms like completely destroy the land, and there are families that have the power to control these storms, and she just happens to be born to a family that has like a whole lot of them. I mean, a whole lot of power, a whole lot of magic to control them. But she hasn't gotten her ability yet. She's of age, she's old enough, she should have it already. But she doesn't have it. She has no power. To disguise this, her mother puts her in an arranged marriage with this other guy that's powerful or whatever, and she doesn't want anything to do with him. And so she runs away and she finds the night markets, and she finds storm hunters selling storm magic, which is very, very bizarre to her. And she didn't realize that that might be an option for her. And so this story follows her discovering this truth and her perhaps being able to get storm magic for herself and not be this disappointment of a daughter. The next one's by an Australian author. I've read one of his other books before, not a fantasy one, a contemporary. His name is Will Kostakis. This is Monuments. It is about 3 teenagers that happen to find gods just chilling beneath their school. And then they have to figure out what to do with this information and who to tell, and things of course go wrong along the way, and I don't know, it seems like a fun story. The next one I got is the sequel to this one here. So I didn't get Sky in the Deep, but I did get its sequel, The Sea the Girl Gave Back. The Girl the Sea Gave Back. I got the sequel, The Girl the Sea Gave Back. It follows like a tribe of warriors like both male, female, doesn't matter, tribe of warriors, and their lives is just like brutal, slaughtering, fighting constantly. And then the main character discovers, sorry, itchy hand. The main character discovers that her brother, who is supposed to be dead, is fighting for the opposite team. And then things happen, and it comes to realize that they need to get their teams working together, not against each other. And that's what the book's about. It's just about them trying to get everyone to get along. And the final 2 books that I got were the sequels to this one here. It's Trial by Fire by Josephine Angelini. Had to get the next 2 because I've told you already that I'm bad at reading series if I don't have the rest of them. So I bought the next 2 in the series, which is Firewalker and Witch's Pier. Pier. You know what I'm trying to say. That one. But yeah. So that way I can read a book about witches, because that sounds freaking cool. It's about a girl who lives in Salem, and in this world everything's going wrong for her. Like, she can't seem to live without things going wrong. So she wants to try and live a bit, like in her last year of high school, she wants to try and go to parties. And so she does go to a party, and then she completely embarrasses herself, and somehow amongst all that she ends up into a different Salem called New Salem. And in this Salem, she's not a mess, but she's also not her. In New Salem, there's a new version of her that is this mean, awful person that's very, very powerful. And because in this world, this New Salem, there's monsters and things that don't exist in her own world. And she has to try and figure out how to survive this world and survive this other version of herself. In order to get back to her own world that maybe isn't so bad anymore. That's Trial by Fire. It sounds amazing. That's all the books for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found some books that maybe you want to buy, or maybe you want to read, or that you've read. If you've read any of these that I haven't read yet, or even if I have read it, please let me know what you thought down below, like what you thought of them. I would love to get in contact with you and just talk to you about it. Thank you so much for joining me. So, fair winds. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.